One. Hi, I'm Yusuf, and today I have a very special guest. I'll let him introduce himself.
Hey, thanks, Yusuf. Yeah, so my name is Zachi. I'm a solutions engineer here at Rivery. Glad to meet you, Yusuf.
Likewise. So, can you tell me more about Rivery?
Yeah, sure thing. So River is a modern data integration platform mainly focused on simplifying like the ELT process. So what we really do is we help data engineers or even data analysts extract, kind of load, as well as run transformations on their various sources. So when we talk about sources, like what we're talking about is like a lot of different like third-party APIs, like Salesforce, maybe like Google Ads, but as well as like some databases as well, like Oracle, MongoDB, SQL Server, and we help them take data from those varieties of sources and pull that into like Databricks or other data lakes and warehouses. And we offer like a platform to do this that's in a very like simple no code experience. That's pretty fast and easy to set up and requires very little maintenance. So we're seeing this become a lot more important as we see teams kind of investigating some, of their data as well, or even some of the modern like AI use cases where they're trying to get their data in like a normalized fashion within their like data warehouse or data lake. So once the data kind of lands within Databricks, Rivery can also help run transformations, data activation, or like reverse ETL back into other systems as well. And our users also are those who want to save time by avoiding, coding, building out those manual integrations, maintaining integrations, or managing too many tools to create like a single data pipeline. So it really gives them the ability to kind of focus more on those, high value tasks that support their businesses as opposed to those, individual maintenance tasks.
That seems very, very interesting. Like simple platform to use, and yeah, that's amazing. And since you mentioned like Databricks, so can you show me how I can connect Rivery with Databricks?
Yeah, so there's actually a few different ways. So I think the easiest way usually is just to kind of show you how this works. There's two options really. So within Databricks, we're actually one of the first like Databricks partners to be utilized within like their Partner Connect. So if you have like a Databricks instance, you can just go into like the Partner Connect on the bottom left, search for Rivery, and you can click on Rivery here, and we'll automatically like spin up account for you. So we'll spin up like the Rivery account and connect your Databricks instance as well. Alternatively, you can actually also go into, or like once you've created a Rivery account, you can create one on our website as well, and we offer like a free trial. Once you create that account, you can actually just click on the connections over here. You can click on a new connection, and you can just search up Databricks, and we'll give you instructions here on the right-hand side on how to configure your Databricks instance and how to pull in those different parameters needed. And you can kind of add that information here on the left-hand side, and you can also test that connection to make sure that it works.
Yeah, it's very, very clear. So either do it through Partner Connect or through your platform. Amazing. So now can you show me how Rivery works? I think it's very, very important for our audience.
Yeah, sure thing. Yeah, so how about I just go into like the Rivery platform and I can show you a little bit about how it works. Give me 1 second while I share my screen. Yep, here you go. So this is what the Rivery platform looks like. There's a very brief kind of introduction into Rivery is that what we call rivers are going to be those data pipelines. So we have three different river types or data pipelines, and we have a source to target, a logic river, as well as an action river. So what a source to target river does is that's more of like that basic like extract and load. So taking data from one source and then loading that into a target. Um, we go a step further from there into what we call a logic river. And this adds another layer to that where we run orchestration of your different pipelines as well as like a transformation step. And we offer transformations in both like SQL, push down SQL that would kind of land in your Databricks instance, as well as some like Python transformations as well. And lastly, we have what we call an action river. And these action rivers are able to run both GET and POST requests to custom REST APIs. So a lot of our customers are using that either to pull data from long tail applications or like other third-party services, or they're using that to post data back out or run like a data activation. So in that post example, you can use that to connect to like DBT. You can use that to run like Tableau refreshes, or you can even use that to call like a Databricks job to run as well. So I'll kind of show you kind of what the platform looks like and kind of hop into the different elements of it. But there are kind of a few examples or some information I also wanted to review. There's this idea of like variables within the platform as well. And this is kind of like a very important function because it really makes the Rivery platform very dynamic. You can use these variables to parameterize certain parts of your rivers so that you can use, you can pass through one variable from one step to another. You can dynamically change those variables as well. But it also leads into like our environments function, where you can then build out deployment packages from like a test environment to like a dev environment to like production environment, and you can see how those values change or those variables change from like the test demo or like a prod environment in this instance. But we'll hop into like the real meat of the platform in those like Rivery queries or Rivery rivers themselves. So we'll start with the source to target, and then we'll hop into the action, and then lastly we'll hop into this logic river to kind of show you how they all combine with each other. So with the source to target river, these are all the different sources that we support. So wide variety of like marketing, analytics sources, RDBMS sources, NoSQL, CRM sources as well as some basic storage units like S3, GCS, Azure Blob, FTP. But we also have things like, webhooks where we can receive data from a specific endpoint as well. So from here, all you have to do is like, if you're looking for a specific connection, let's say you're looking to connect Salesforce, you can just select Salesforce over here. And on the right-hand side, they'll give you instructions on how to connect. You can add new connection. And then on the right-hand side, they'll give you instructions on connecting or adding your Salesforce information. And you can just fill out the information on the left-hand side. You can also test the connection on the bottom left, and you can just select your connection from the drop-down over here. All our various sources actually kind of follow the same format, right? So that was Salesforce, but let's say we want to connect to MongoDB. We can just select MongoDB, click on the new connection, and again, on the right-hand side, it'll give you instructions on how to connect. And you can fill out the information on the left-hand side. So Salesforce was more like an API. MongoDB is going to be more of like a RDBMS or like a NoSQL source. And for those sources, we actually offer a few different ways to connect. We offer like you can connect through SSH, reverse SSH, Azure, AWS private link, as well as a VPN option as well. And for all our databases, we actually offer a few different options of extraction. You can extract using standard extraction or using like a CDC method, or in MongoDB's case, like change streams as well. So we can give this a title at the top. We can just call this MongoDB to Databricks, and we can even give it a date. So it's February 2nd, 2024. And on the target side, these are all the targets that we support. So if you're using Databricks, you just select Databricks over here. Same thing, if you haven't connected your Databricks connection, as we kind of reviewed earlier, you can actually just hit new connection and go through that same information on connecting Databricks again, fill out that information on the left-hand side. One thing I did want to note is this idea of like a custom file zone. So by default, like how Rivery loads the data is, in this case, we take the data from Mongo, load it into a custom file zone like S3, and then load it from S3 into Databricks. That S3 instance by default is managed by Rivery. But what we let you do is that we actually let you utilize like a custom file zone as well. So you can stage that intermediary data within your own S3 or within your own blob environment. And this becomes useful for a lot of security teams, especially because like all the data can be within your VPC and stay within your VPC. But it also helps where none of the data is like, you can handle retention, so you can handle like auditability of like what that data looks like. You can go back and see what that raw JSON or raw CSV looks like. And you can also, create that like data lake layer automatically, where you have like that, reference within S3 of what that data looks like. Once you have that Databricks instance set up, you can just select the specific catalog that you want to pull from. And we also have like helper functions on, or you want to write to, sorry. And we have helper functions as well. So this would just be pulling like a different list of catalogs available. And we do also have like a few other things here as well that make it a little easier. So like once you select your catalog, let's say we're using like Rivery test, it'll automatically load the schema as well. Just give me 1 second as I pull up.
So I believe Rivery is supporting Unity catalog.
Yeah, so we support both Unity catalog as well as a Hive metastore as well. So once we load the schema, you can just type in like MongoDB sample. And we offer different loading modes like upsert merge, append, or overwrite as well. So upsert merge just loads on like a primary key, overwrite truncates and loads, and append just adds at the bottom. But from here, you can just select the different, schemas or collections in this case that are available within your MongoDB instance. And you can just kind of look through here, look at anything that's available, and just select anything that you want. You can either select all the different, collections, or you can select individual ones as well. And you can kind of edit each one, like the target table that you want to load in within your Databricks instance, or you can select like, the load function, the specific extract method as well. So a lot of different configurations here that are available.
I really
And
love
on the setting
the
side,
simplicity. I really, really love the simplicity and how everything is made accessible for everyone. That's really amazing.
it makes it super easy. And I feel like the instructions are also there to make it really easy for you to kind of like, without like much information, like if someone's not too familiar with like Mongo, but they still need to pull in Mongo data, it makes it super easy for them to kind of just pull that through without like much, you need some like guidance, but Rivery does provide like a lot of the guidance or instructions for each one. And then it's pretty much just like a no code experience to kind of writing all that different information through. So let me actually just rename this. We'll call this Rivery Mongo _. And on the schema side, we'll just select the different tables. So there's a few I wanted to kind of run through just to kind of, I'll show you a little bit later how it all kind of ties together. But let's look for the specific. I want to type in like user types, maybe environments, roles. And we'll put in like, I think that should be good. And then from here, you can just schedule this to run at whatever frequency that you want. The highest frequency that Rivery supports is every 5 minutes. And then the lowest frequency is going to be once a year. But obviously, you can also just schedule this ad hoc to run as well. And then this will just schedule or just run whenever you kind of run this process. You can also get notifications on failures or warnings or if it exceeds a run threshold as well. And then once you hit run, this is just automatically going to run. This is going to take data from MongoDB right into our Databricks instance. And you can see this on the activities as well, where I'll pull in that specific run. You'll be able to see those metrics over here. And you can see a broader activities panel as well that pulls in like all metrics from various, all your different pipelines as well. And then you can filter on the specific date time that you'd like as well. And you can just see like that process. Like these are in the running status, and these are the ones that have run previously with their completed time. We also have other things we can pull in like, email data as well. So if you want to look at the specific river, you can just look at it over here. And this is one that I've pre-created that's pulling, email, like an Excel sheet from email. So this is just pulling from my own email. And it's just pulling this Excel sheet that we can then see here. And same thing, we're just loading that directly into Databricks as well.
That's really
Any
amazing.
questions or anything so far, Yusa?
No, to be honest, everything is clear, and thank you for those explanations. I mean, it's very simple, and your explanations are very concise. So I don't think but yeah, I have a question actually. So in your experience, when it's the best to combine Rivery and Databricks?
Yeah, so I would say in my experience, like the best way to there's kind of like 3 different use cases I would say where like data teams benefit the most from like combining Rivery and Databricks. The first is, for like fast data ingestion from like databases, various cloud systems and maybe some like custom APIs as well. I didn't show much about the custom API connections, but essentially like you're able to pull from like a variety of different sources using our REST API connector. And this is something I can show as well if you'd like. But really, it can kind of just pull data from any like custom REST API. And that's kind of done through what we call like this action river here. This is especially common for like marketing analytics use cases as well, where many marketing kind of related data sources, such as like ad channels, social media, and other marketing tools are kind of integrated within Databricks. And then they also have like those long tail applications that they maybe pull from using like that custom connector. Kind of the second use case, so that's kind of like the first case. I'd say the second one is I would say like large organizations that need to manage like data pipelines across like multiple teams. So instead of having like a bottleneck where like there's one centralized data team that kind of creates all the different pipelines for the organization, they share like a segmented environment across like different teams. So like the data team is going to own like one environment, but using like this environment functionality, they can actually create multiple different environments for all the different teams that would need it. So that way they can like parameterize or like, organize like, one department can have access to their own environment, and the data team can kind of govern that and control over access between all the different, pipelines that they have. but the centralized team would kind of own that, and then each department would have their own like sandbox essentially to play with. I would say that's kind of like the second most popular like use case, and it really enables like data management approach, especially in like a data mesh way as well. So the third popular use case probably is for organizations that want to find themselves managing like too many tools and then wasting too much time as a cost of that. So usually some people are using a different tool for ingestion as well as like orchestration, and another tool for transformation, and then another one for like data activation. Rather than having like 4 different tools for that, they can kind of just have Rivery be used for like that entire scope or end-to-end process. So that's where we've really seen where like that Rivery's been beneficial, especially in like that tool consolidation. So hopefully like those 3 different use cases can kind of help, explain like the best use cases where you can combine like Rivery and Databricks. I'd say.
Yeah, that would make sense. And I believe I should thank you for your time. And I'll make sure to add all the useful links in the description of the video, including the links to Rivery, the documentation, and in case you want to reach out to the team. Thank you. Thank you,
Yeah,
Zachary.
no problem. Thanks, Yusuf.
Bye.